Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to learn about an innovative solution to the staffing and recruiting problem in the real estate industry. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team. And the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, the entire real estate industry has a staffing and recruiting problem, and it's largely because of television shows like Million Dollar Listing. Some wannabe agents watch Million Dollar Listing and says, oh my goodness, in less than an hour I can sell a home and get that kind of commission. And then of course they get to the real world and they find out that it's not that easy. To talk about the problem and the solution, Mark Johnson, he's the co-founder of Recruiting Insight. Thanks for coming on the show.
Jeff, thanks for having me here today. So exciting to be in the studio with you.
Well, you have such a long history in the real estate industry. I'm thrilled to have you in the studio. And does that describe a lot of agents? They think it's going to be easy. Their friend brags about their commission check, and you got to pay your dues.
Yeah, easy money, and I'll, $1 million listing, and I'll make all this. It'll just fall out of the trees. Well, Jeff, the reality is, NAR has about 1.5 million members, and each year 10% consistently over the last leave.
Really?
Exit. About 15% come in. And so you have, that's 225,000 people coming in.
Yes.
And you have about 25% of them that move and switch within firms.
Sure.
So you have this massive movement.
And that's a problem for the industry, because if you own a brokerage and every day it's another person, jumping ship or something like that, it's hard to build a cohesive team.
And harder to build a culture, because you have people going out the door, coming in the door, and then you have switching through the door.
And I would say, when people switch, it's almost contagious, isn't it, Mark? Oh, she jumped ship. Should I stick around? Maybe there's something wrong. Yeah,
for sure. And folks tend to gravitate towards a top producer, like someone like yourself who has experience and history and knows what they're doing, and they'll follow them to their new location.
Okay, so tell us about Recruiting Insight and how you guys solve the problem.
Yeah, so Recruiting Insight and my business partner, Ben Hess, and I really have spent a lot of time trying to understand how we can help broker owners and team leaders solve this problem. And there's really 3 legs to this. There's new agent recruiting, there's experienced agent recruiting, and there's helping your teams who kind of just need just-in-time recruiting.
Right.
And so there's a unique product or solution under our umbrella for each one of those challenges.
And this is something you've been doing by nature for more than a decade. How long have you been in the industry?
Well over 25 years. Wow. And so my expertise has always been talent attraction. Right? I hate to use the word recruiting.
Sure.
I like to use the word talent attraction, because when you create a culture like you've created here, and you create the environment, people naturally want to come and join your firm or be a client of your firm. And so that's the concept. But I've been doing the talent attraction recruiting game for well over 25 years at a pretty high level.
That's amazing. And Mark would not say this, but I can brag on him. Let's go ahead and put up the bio sheet. So you and Ben really make a dream team. In the last 5 years, you grew JPAR, which is a famous real estate brand, 5 times. You 5x'd it?
5x the agent count. Which is a pretty phenomenal feat.
And brag about Ben.
So Ben, it's funny. I'm an Army veteran, and he's a Navy vet. He went to the Naval Academy. So the Army-Navy games are always great in our company. But Ben has well over 15 years of deep experience understanding the metrics, the behavior, the psychology of recruiting.
Sure.
Working with broker owners all over the country. So we make just a great dynamic team who can really sit down with a broker owner or a team leader and consult with what their challenges are and come up with really a customized solution for their particular firm.
Tell us the kinds of clients you like to work with.
Well, a couple of our clients who I could brag about, Carpenter Realtors out of Indianapolis, Lion Real Estate in California. We have a number of clients in 80 different markets currently across the country. So anybody that has a desire to grow and wants to up their game, it's a good client for us.
Sure. And after a while, if you're a broker owner and you keep this revolving door happening, you're not even running a business anymore. You're just, recruiting, losing.
Yeah. Well, you're running it's a different kind of business, right?
Yeah.
And some people have that by design. That's their strategy, and that's okay if it's by design. What we're trying to do is get out of default.
Right.
If we have others who, by design, do it a different way.
Yes.
So it's all with the intention, right?
Well, I also want to brag about you as a podcaster. We're going to put up on the screen, this is you. Look at that handsome man.
Oh, yeah.
So I joked with you before the show that this is like one interviewer interviewing another interviewer. Tell us about the show that you did for so many years here and why you did it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to start a new show with new clients. Really, what I want to do is highlight other folks' success, right? And highlight the success of, in this case, our agents.
Sure.
In my new role in founding this company, we're going to highlight the success of our broker owners and the first level managers and the team leaders who are performing, at an outstanding level. And when you allow them to tell their stories, when those best practices come out, one person's going to benefit.
Yes.
I couldn't tell you how many from the shows that you and I have done here, how many calls I've received that says, that one thing helped me figure out my breakthrough.
Well, your timing for this new company couldn't be better because, the last 5 years or so, it was pretty easy. It was easy going,
easy.
right?
Yeah.
I'll just put up a listing and I'll get $100,000 over the asking price and bada bing, bada boom. And so now this is where the rubber meets the road. What are you seeing on the front line? Are broker owners having a real problem right now keeping their company together?
They are. And I was talking with one of my big clients in Albany, New York yesterday, and he shared with me how he's dealing with this is opening the lines of communication, clarity of communication, and empathy. Because there's really so much going on in the industry right now. Sales are down. They just are. And folks that were thinking, I could just put a listing up and get it over asking and roll into money, that ain't happening. Those days are over.
Sure. And in 25 years, you've been through a number of ups and downs. And so speaking from a historical perspective, is it sometimes healthy to have a period like this where the realtors who might sell a home a year start to wash out and they get the people with some grit?
It's totally, and I love that you mentioned grit. It's totally healthy, and we need it because the grit that you mentioned is so important. And I view it as we have hobbyists or recreational agents, and you have professional agents. And there's a difference.
Yes.
It's not right or wrong, right? There's a lot of great hobbyists that do fishing, but there's also the professionals that do that, and there's a difference. And so this type of market really separates the hobbyist and the recreational practitioners from the true professional.
And the real estate industry in general is going through an upheaval because of all the disruptors. So you were part of a disruptive company, and there are so many others that we could name that are out there shaking things up. That represents another challenge to broker owners, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And that's why it's so important. Like I loved how you started your show. You're clear on your niche, you're clear on who your ideal prospect is, and you're clear on your value proposition.
Yes.
And if you don't have clarity on those three things, it doesn't matter what, you're going to struggle in your company. So
what does an ideal client look like, and how does somebody watching this know when it's time to bring in Mark and Ben?
Well, they're going to know it because their numbers are tanking, right? They're not attracting the type of talent they need to achieve their goals.
Yes.
They're stagnant. or worse, they're declining.
Yeah.
And typically that's when we get the call. It's typically too late.
There's a saying in football that winning is a great deodorant. You can have some stuff wrong with your team, but as long as you're putting up the W's, all is right with the world. And so a lot of real estate companies that have had it easy for the last half decade or more are suddenly finding out how good a team they really have.
Yeah. You know, tomorrow I'm doing a webinar with one of my good friends, Steve Murray. He did a study called Against All Odds. And he studied 500 companies and found 11 that grew in a downturn.
Wow.
So there's a couple things they learned. The key thing was getting closer to your people. Getting closer to your people. That was the common thread. The other one was leadership. It wasn't necessarily that the brand's important for many things.
Sure.
But it was that the local leadership had more connection to profitability and growth
Yes.
than anything else.
Well, one of the things I know about you and I've always respected about you is that you show your human side and you're very transparent and honest with your team. Talk about why that's so important.
Well, to me, it's and I use the word authentic. It's genuine. It's not phony or fake. And I think in today's society, in today's world, particularly with the millennials and others, they see right through that kind of thing. So it's kind of always been who I am.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And yeah.
I can see why you've been so successful, and congratulations on this new endeavor. In the little time we have left, final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
Well, I think I'd go back to the study that my friend Steve Murray did. No matter what business you're in, I think these are universal applications. Get closer to your people, provide leadership, shore up your lines of communication, and have empathy.
Outstanding. You've been a great guest. We're going to have you back again soon, and we're going to end with the website, which is recruitinginsight.net. The great Mark Johnson. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.